Hello, and welcome to Witchy Woman Podcast. I am your host, DaNae Sweet, and this is episode 126. So, in this episode, at the end, I will announce the winner of the Sacred Hags Oracle Deck from the giveaway that I've been doing for the last 2 weeks. And let me tell you, I had no idea how many of you would actually that listen and enter the contest, because I've been spending pretty much the entire 2 weeks recording all the names of the people that entered the contest. So thank you so much for participating. I think that's awesome, and I'm kind of blown away at how many people actually listen to the podcast every week. So today I wanted to have a fun episode, just a fun one. I have the privilege of being able to have an entire room, which I call the Witch Cave, for myself, for my witchy stuff, for the podcast, and I wanted to share with you some things, like my favorite things about my witch cave and how I use it in my practice. I want to share these things with you because if you have a chance to have a space all to your own, I think that some of these things are worth sharing. Also, you can totally apply some of the things I do or did to create this room to a smaller space. Not a big deal. But I wanted to share these things with you because I felt like, one, I freaking love my witch room, my witch cave, and I want to share it. I'll be sharing some pictures of my witch cave on Instagram and in the groups and things like that later this week. But I really wanted to share with you. And then I want you guys to tell me, like, if you had your own space, or if you do have your own, like, witch space, witch room, whatever it is, what are your favorite things about yours? Let's share and get inspiration from each other. I think this would be really fun. My favorite thing, probably my top favorite thing in my witch cave, is the cabinet thing that you're going to see behind me when I do like videos and things like that. It is like this desk. It's supposed to be a desk. It's got a space where you can sit in a chair, but I don't use it that way. It's got drawers and a cabinet, and then all this shelving that like almost reaches the ceiling of my room. So I'm a book whore. I've mentioned that before. But I can put all my books up there. I have crystals scattered on it. It's complete chaos is what it looks like, but it's perfect for me because that's how my brain works. All my books are there, or not all of them. I take that back because I do have another cabinet that I have books in here, but the ones I use the most are going to be behind me on that shelf. And then I've got crystals. I have all of my herbs for the most part either in the cabinet on the bottom of this like dresser, not dresser, it's a cabinet thing. It's a cabinet desk shelf thing. I don't even know. But anyway, most of the stuff's for herbs and things are up there. My incense blends are going to be on the shelves. And I'm short as shit. I'm 5'4", and that's probably reaching. So the things on the top shelves are things I don't use as much, or just didn't have a place anywhere else. So this whole thing behind me is like, I don't know, it's my main source of witchy shit. So on the bottom where like the desk part is, I have essential oils and blends. I've got baskets with candles in them. You can buy I got them off Amazon, I think. You could buy 50 of these like little baskets. I think they're supposed to be for some kind of craft, but I use them to house my candles and things, my chime candles and my tea lights specifically. And then I keep all of the extra ones of those in another cabinet. But all the ones that I'm going to use, I pick out the colors that I use the most and I put those in the baskets. That way they're just right there. I can just grab it and go. What else do I have on? Let me look around. Hang on. Also, on that bottom space that's supposed to be like the desk part where you would like write or put your laptop on, I have some specific jewelry pieces that I keep in a little like selenite bowl, and I use that to like charge or cleanse my my jewelry pieces, like my crystal pieces, after I have used them. So that's sitting up there, so I can just like take off my jewelry and stick them there. All of my witchy jewelry is in my room here. That way, it's in a great place. The space is pretty high vibe. It's protected. So all of my crystal jewelry go in here, and then I will put it in the bowl after I use it. And then there's the cabinet space I've been talking about is like on the side, you know, like where drawers would be, but there's one drawer and then a big cabinet that has 2 shelves inside of it. So you open up that door, and I have all of my charged waters and oils that I don't want to hit the sunlight or to have any, you know, very much light on them. I keep them in there. It's dark. My entire cabinet is painted in black, so it's a very good place for that kind of stuff. I have them all labeled with what day and moon phase that I did it. That way I can know exactly what water I'm grabbing and not worry about grabbing the wrong one. So the 2 drawers, this one, so I am very, I love crafting. I like making shit. And sometimes I'll literally just be sitting in the living room reading a book or something, and all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, I'll get like mad creative energy to go like make something cool, make a candle or make a spell bag or just something cute. So I have my craft drawers. So 2 of those drawers are dedicated just for that shit. So I have all my ribbons, my colored strings and cords that I would use for like cord cuttings or to wrap up any of my my herbs when I'm drying them, that kind of stuff. All of that is in there. I have bottles galore. So the little dropper bottles, I've got different colors of those. I've got roller bottles as well and different colors of those for oil blends and stuff. What else do I have in there? Hang on. Let me open it up. Oh, yeah. So if you've been listening long enough, you know I'm obsessed with like glitter and anything that sparkles. So I bought a whole bunch of glitter that is like the food glitter. So it's biodegradable. And I will use like the food colored glitter stuff in different spells, or I honestly, this is the coolest thing, as not witchy at all, but you can buy some of that edible like mica stuff and you can put it in any of your drinks, and I do so. Like if I have juice, I'll like pour a bunch of gold stuff in there and make it like golden orange juice for Thursdays for prosperity. So I have all kinds of that kind of stuff. Anything shiny, rhinestones, oh my god. The rhinestones I have in there. There is this container that's got every size of that Aurora Borealis type rhinestone, and they're all in there, and I use that so much. I will paint skulls and I'll put cute little rhinestones all over it because I just like to. In my oil blends and things, if I'm making a perfume for myself, I will put like on the top of the bottle cap, I put a little crystal up there, and I do have different colored ones too, but those I have the most of is like the kind that look like aura quartz kind of, you know what I mean? And we cannot forget the surplus of light bulbs I have in there for all of my salt lamps and my crystal lamps, because I use them so much. I tend to go through a lot of those little tiny light bulbs that fit in your like salt lamps and things. So I have shitloads of light bulbs in there so I can keep all of my stuff glowing beautifully and keep that vibe up in here that I really like. The other drawer is all my incense that will fit in there. So I have a ton of stick incense. I buy it in bulk. So my favorites are Nag Champa and sandalwood. So there's shitloads of stick incense in there. I mean, lots. I put as many as I can fit in that particular drawer, and then the excess goes in a cabinet, like in our like utility room where I have extra storage. But I have other incense in there too. I've got some blends that come in small little jar things, and those fit in there really nicely. I really, really like resin incense, and I have a couple different jars that are in there. I want to share with you my favorite kind. Hang on. This is my favorite incense blend. It comes from, let's see. I'm going to spell this. I'm going to say this wrong, and I'm really sorry, but I'm going to try my best. Okay. Prabhuji's Gifts Herbal Resin Incense. And this one that I like the most is called Don Vitari. It's the health and healing one. And I'm going to tell you what's in it because this is the best. If you love like resin smells, you got to go get it. The ingredients: frankincense, myrrh, copal, bay leaves, sandalwood, lavender, sugar, rosemary, orange peel, cinnamon, rose petals, amber, clove, lemongrass essential oil, and patchouli essential oil. Which is funny because I normally don't like the smell of patchouli, but all of this blended together is so amazing. Like, I'm going to open it up. Oh my god, it smells so good. Anyway, they come in the little tiers. If you've ever had resin incense, you'll know what that means. But they look like, if you've never seen resin incense, this is going to sound gross, but it looks like a petrified booger. Like, to me, that's what it looks like. A petrified booger or a really pretty Rice Krispie. A big Rice Krispie. But not. Oh my god. Anyway, just go get some. You're going to love it. I've not sponsored anything. It's just one of my favorite incenses, and I do go through this quite a bit. So there's that. In that drawer as well, I have all of my long, the long skinny candles. What the hell are they called? Taper candles. I have a bunch of those in there in just basic colors. I've got white, I have black, I have green, and I think I might have, I've got red in there. Those are the ones I'm going to use the most if it's going to be a taper. So I have all of those in there as well because they kind of fit. They come in those little boxes for the most part, and they kind of slide in really nicely into a drawer, and I can stack them like 3 boxes high. So that's what's in there. I have a ton of crystals. If you listen from the beginning, you know that I had a metaphysical shop, and so I had a lot of overstock of crystals, and I did sell some, but I'm a greedy bitch, and I kept quite a few of my crystals. I mean, let's be honest, I kept a lot of my crystals. And so I have a very small house and not very many places to put them. So on the shelves of this thing I've been talking about, they're just scattered. There's usually no rhyme or reason to what crystals are where. I do have some that I just prefer to have behind me because it feels good. But for the most part, they're just scattered everywhere. Let me turn around and see which one my favorite one is on here right now. Okay, it has to be a giant Super 7 cluster that I got. It's freaking gorgeous. It looks like a giant torch, kind of, because it tapers and all of the points come off the end of it. It is gorgeous. I know it's like Coax of something or other is the real name of it, but it's Super 7, and it is so cool. I like gnarly stuff. I don't have a ton of really nicely carved points. I have a lot of natural stuff, so a lot of my crystals you're going to see behind me probably aren't going to be too shiny, but that's the way I like them. I mean, I do like the shine because glitter, but I just love the feeling of a crystal that's in its raw form. Right in front of me right now is a pretty large chunk of blue apatite, and it sits it's bigger than the palm of my hand, and I can't wrap my fingers quite all the way around it. And some of it has this gorgeous dark sea blue color coming out of it in an almost point. And the rest of it is just real chunky and varies in color. And I love it. And I have it here because it's good for the throat chakra. And what I do for a living is basically talk all day. So I need something to keep my energy center in that part of my body clear and flowing. So I like to have that right here. Let us go around the room to the next thing. So I have a dedicated healing altar that I have in this room, and it's painted gold. I don't know if I told you before, if you've seen pictures, my room in here is basically black with gold accents, and I know that sounds gaudy as shit, but I like it. So the healing altar is a table, like a little end table, and I just spray painted it gold because I'm fancy like that. And on it I have all of these like just white pillar candles that kind of go in a square around it, and then I have tea lights that I will light for people that need extra healing or support or whatever it is. I put it in on this little silver tray, so it's just tons and tons of tea lights just melted on top of each other pretty much. And then I have my only really big tower is this huge crystal quartz tower. It's clear quartz, and it sits on there, and it's just really big. Anyway, but I have some candles that are next to it, and I just let it all kind of melt together. And that is where I will sit and send Reiki a lot of times to people who ask for it, or my daily prayers to protect my family and keep us healthy. I do that in front of there. But it's really nice. And I have this little black mat thing that I sit on because I have hardwood floors in here that I'm in the process of painting black because they're not really salvageable. This was like we call it the Franken home. So I'm going to totally go off script here a little bit. But this house used to be a schoolhouse in another location, and they moved it onto this property. And then they basically just like shoved other buildings and added on to it. So like if you go in the front of the house in the attic, you can actually see the old eave of the original schoolhouse. They just built right over the top of it, a new roof over the top of the old roof. So you can see it. It's really kind of weird as shit, but that's what my house looks like if you go in the attic. And in this room, there was this god awful shag, like just dingy yellow carpet, and it was ugly. I'm down with some shag, but not this particular like vomit pus orange color. So I ripped it all up thinking that I would have hardwood floors just like the rest of the house, and part of this room has hardwood floors, and then the east part of my home must be an addition because it's all plywood. It's like the hardwood floor stops and then there's plywood. So I have plans for the floor. It's just taking a while to find time to get it all done. So that's what my Franken house we deal with while we're remodeling this house. But anyway, I digress. Where was I? My healing altar. So I go over there, I sit on my mat, and I do my morning prayers and things like that at that particular altar. And I love it because when it all lights up, it's pretty dark in here. I ain't gonna lie. But when you light that up, it like reflects this beautiful warm glow off of the black wall behind it. And then the crystal like bounces light around. And then the gold, it's got like this weird, like, I don't know if you call it a lip, but it's one of those end tables that aren't just flat. It's like they have an edge. So if you could fill it with something and nothing would spill. I don't know. Anyway. But the light will bounce off of that stuff, and you can see that gold glow on the wall, and it's just so cool, and it just feels really good, and it's my favorite space just to chill. I will go there during panic attacks sometimes if I'm feeling like that. If I can catch it and I know it's coming on, I'll run to my healing altar, light a candle, and then just sit and focus on the flame or close my eyes and just soak up some good energy. But I really, really love that space. If you have space to make a healing altar, I highly recommend it. It's all good vibes. I don't do spells on it. All it is sometimes I will have specific prayers that I will say. They're like pagan prayers. Sometimes it's just, hey, can I please get some, spirit or whomever, can I get some healing myself? So I highly recommend it. It's an awesome little space. My computer sounds like it's like an airplane taking off right now because the fan is like really wrapped up. So if you hear a buzz or like a wee sound, that's what it is. I just wanted to let you know. I have a closet in here, but currently it's just like, it's the place that eats all the things that I don't know where to put. So like in that closet are seasonal decorations for altars. I actually have some of Maddie's prom dresses hanging in there. Lots of my shipping stuff when I used to sell things online is in there. So I have like shitloads of purple little mailer thingies and all my labels that I used to use for my shop. So a lot of that stuff has just went in there to like die because I won't use it again. But it's there if I need it because I'm one of those people who have a hell of a time letting go of things. At some point, I'm sure I will like gift them to somebody. I just, right now, they're in there. That's where they're going to stay. But that's pretty much like my catch-all closet. So it's a fucking mess. There's just crap everywhere in there and I need to organize it. It's like been on my to-do list for like 2 months and it just keeps getting pushed back because I've been busy and we're trying to like redo our living room, and we finally got it all painted this weekend, which is why I was so tired Monday morning. I just was done. I did not realize painting for 2 days would kick my ass like it did, but it did. So when you see videos of me, you'll see the cabinets that I've been talking about behind me. And in front of me, though, is just a black wall that I've turned into my gallery wall. So I have shitloads of picture frames that are gold. I have mirrors that have gold frames. I have deity pictures. Just tons of artwork that I like that has gold frames, and that's all on that wall. And it's not finished yet by any means, but that's like every time I find something I really like, I will within reason, I will buy it and put it on this wall if it's got a gold frame to it. And if it doesn't have a gold frame to it, I'm like the queen of spray paint, and I'll just take that shit outside and go spray paint it gold and bring it in, because I'm also a cheap ass. Inside this room, I do also have my grow cabinet. So I took, this house came with this really chunky 1970s like looking China hutch. And I don't have a need for China hutch because we ain't fancy. Anyway, so it is painted black, duh. And I converted it into, part of it is for my crystals, the excess crystals that I do not want anything touching. The stuff that's expensive goes in there. And then on the top 2 shelves, I put grow lights in there. And that is where I start all of my baby plants in there. So most of the plants that are going to be started in there, or that have been grown in there, are my baneful plants. So my belladonnas, I got henbane, wolfsbane. What else did I grow in there? I'm drawing a blank. There's been a few different kinds of belladonna grown in there. But anyway, you get the drift. There are these little like strip lights that have sticky on the back of them, and they kind of like all link together in a chain. And I just have those on like the above piece, like the shelf above or the ceiling of the thing. That way I can start stuff in there. It's a nice environment where the temperature really doesn't change very much, especially if it's in here, because this room pretty much stays the same temp. We've got a lot of shade, even in the summer, over the top of this side of the house. So I have those on, and then I have it on a timer so that I don't, because I'm lazy, and I also will forget to turn them off and on. So cheap ass, I think it was like a $7 timer from Amazon is what I use. That China hutch though also has like drawers, or not drawer. Yeah, well, there's a China drawer for like silverware, but instead of silverware, I have like loose gems and things like that I haven't put in settings yet. I've got tons of stuff in these cabinets. So I have all of my yearbooks from when I was in high school. I have magazines that Maddie was in when she was little. I've got tons of shit that are like, it's like you open up those drawers or the cabinets there, and it's basically memory lane for me. I can open it up, and there's books that I loved when I was younger in there. Tons of pictures of Maddie that I haven't framed yet. There's just a lot of stuff. Not really witchy stuff. It's just a lot of stuff. And I wanted it in my room because it has this beautiful, nostalgia energy around it. And I just find that super comforting. I have 2 other altars in here. One that's my working altar, meaning that's the one that's usually a fucking mess. And that's where I do my spells. I clean it up, though, before I do another spell, just so you're like, oh my god, you do work on a dirty altar. No, I clean it up, but then I also have an altar that's just for deity. It's pretty. I will decorate it with seasonal decorations for each Sabbath that we go through. It's my pretty place. It's got a lot of it's got deity statues on it, crystals, offering bowls. What else do I got over there? I even have a plant or 2 that I have dedicated to specific deities, and so then I take care of the plant for them, and that's my way of honoring that particular deity. But yeah, that's my pretty spot. It's got some shelving that I also have excess books on, and some cabinets that I have things in there that I'm not going to talk about publicly because I don't have to. You can just wonder what I've got in my cabinets. So, how did I create? I want to talk about kind of like how I went about deciding what I wanted in here. Most of it was like, it just kind of fit. It like, I found this cabinet, this beautiful cabinet that's behind me in all my videos. I found it for $10 on Facebook. Somebody was having like a moving sale and just wanted it out. So I got that. I have a table that my computer is on, and like where I do my work. And this thing, where did we find, this was another one of those garage sale things. So most of the things I have are repurposed or things I found like at a garage sale, basically. So anyway, the furniture just kind of fell in my lap, and that's how it moved in here. But there are things that I did to this room, or I still do to this room, that make it my sacred space. So first and foremost, when I decided this was going to be my space, I cleaned the shit out of it. Like, I cleaned the floors, I scrubbed, I mopped, I washed all the walls down. I really like using just regular water, a little bit of like moon water, just to add some good vibes. And Dawn dish soap. You can add something else if you really want to, but just to like clean and cleanse and get that kind of going, that's what I used. And then after I, actually cleaned it, I cleaned the windows too, like inside, outside, scrubbed the shit out of it to get all of the dirt and grime out. And then, my next thing was to cleanse it spiritually. So I went in with some smoke clearing. I had music going in the background. I love putting on like just some what's it called, binaural beats. Anyway, just some kind of cleansing meditation music in the background from YouTube that I had on my laptop while I was doing all this. I opened all the windows just to get some fresh air in while I was doing it, and smoke doesn't smoke me out in here. I did that, and then I did a sacred space blessing right then and there. So after I was done cleansing it, there's nothing in this room yet, I did a space blessing, which basically consecrates this space for spiritual work. This is my spiritual space where I do readings and mediumship, everything that I do for the most part for my personal practice and my actual job is done in here. So there's tons of different ways to consecrate or to bless a room. I have a specific sacred space blessing that I use, but I'm sure you can find something on Pinterest or Google it. I'm sure there's something out there. Just be careful about cultural appropriation. Again, just make sure that you're getting something that fits with you and is legit. Okay, so obviously this room needed painted. So pretend that so we did everything. I ripped out the carpet, I cleaned it all down, we scrubbed the floors, I blessed the place. Now we're going to paint. So before I painted, I actually we're just going to call this a special blend of paint that I make for sacred stuff. And I painted different sigils and symbols on all of the walls, the floor, and the ceiling, because I did paint the ceiling as well, to match with the purposes of this room. That's what we're going to say. So if you had a room, your bedroom, you're going to want love and peace and sensuality and, whatever else you would want in your bedroom. This room is my safe place. So I wanted it protected. I wanted it worded. I wanted it to be the place where my intuition is at its best. So I planned accordingly, basically, and I wrote these all over the walls in my special paint. The door got a special treatment because it comes a lot of, like, I come in and out, the cats come in and out, Brad sometimes comes in here, Maddie sometimes comes in here. And I really wanted it to be a place that if they wanted to come in, they totally could. But if somebody else came in here, they would run away. So I did some things to the door as far as symbology as well to make sure that that's the reaction I would get if somebody were to, like, come into my room that I didn't want in here. So I planned this out. I did all this. I made sure it isn't just coming in here and painting the symbols. I had incense going. I had some beautiful meditation music going while I was in here. I lit my deity candle just to kind of, like, ask them to be a part of the process as well. And that's how I did that. Does that make sense? And then I painted the place. I painted all the walls and the ceiling. The ceiling is actually like a really freaking dark gray, and then the walls are black, obviously, and it took forever. And this is a funny thing. So when I was doing all this, it's when I had shingles really bad last fall. If you remember, like, at the end of the summer, first of the fall, I ended up getting shingles inside my skin, inside my ear, and up the side of my face and neck, but it was all inside. It wasn't outside. It was the weirdest shit ever, and it was very, very painful. And I had it for 10 weeks, and at about week 6, I believe, I started to go a little bit stir crazy, and the pain was getting to me, so I ripped up all the carpet in the entire house, and then I decided I wanted to paint everything. So, that is what I did. That is what I did. I came in here. Oh, God. It was just, yeah. Anyway, I digress. So I wanted to paint the place. I painted it all with a spray painter thing, like one of those little spray guns that you can get to make it faster. And I was like, this is going to be great. So I am on a nerve pain pill. I'm on some other crap that they gave me for shingles. I'm basically a walking zombie that still hurts, if that makes any sense. It made me really tired, but I still hurt. So I got this paint sprayer and loaded it with paint, and I do have the windows open, and I've got the fan going, and I'm just, like, vibing in here, jamming to some awesome, like, uplifting music while I paint. And I get pretty much all of it done, and I'm like, woo, I'm like another level, like, loopy right now. These pain meds must be really kicking in. Well, I took a break and I went to the bathroom and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I had painted all of the like spray that had accidentally hit me. I wasn't aware of because I was all numbed out on whatever they gave me for shingles. So I looked at my face and I had paint everywhere, including my nose. There was, like, my insides of my nostrils and around my nose was just coated in black paint. So I realized after that I should have probably been wearing goggles and some kind of respirator mask to do spray painting in a small room. Hindsight is 2020. If I ever use the spray painter thingy again, I'm definitely using a mask because that messed me up. I was coughing and sick in the lungs for like a week after I painted that. So this is a cautionary tale. Use your respirator. Get one that's like for the paint particles. That way you don't end up like me, loopy as shit with headaches and then kind of like a chest cold on top of shingles. I totally forgot to tell you what I put in the paint. So I went on Etsy and typed in crystal powder. And you can order crystal like dust. Basically, like the dust that's left over when somebody cuts gemstones, they can bag that up and sell it. So I bought different crystal powders to mix into the paint for various reasons. So I did mix that into both the wall and the ceiling paint before I actually did all this. And it's super fine. It's like mica, but not. Like, I put it in the paint and you can't even notice, like, you didn't even notice or be able to see that it's in there, and there's not a lot. It's kind of expensive. So I didn't put a lot in there. So like an entire gallon of paint may have only had like 1/4 of a teaspoon of crystal powder, because it's expensive. And as I've said before, I'm cheap. So I mixed that all up in there really, really well before I painted, and it just has a really beautiful vibe in here with all the layers of things that I've done to keep it safe and also spiritually nurturing for me. One of the things that I started doing that I think that you guys will like is that I have this my little indoor cauldrons that I burn loose incense in. So after I get done with a spell and I've got all this incense and probably like sand or whatever in the bottom of it, I will pour it in a mason jar that has a lid on it. And I collect all of that stuff and I keep it in the jar to use for things like black salt. If I want to make black salt, that's the stuff I use to make my salt black. There's tons of things I use that dust. It's weird how many things I use that dust for now that I've been collecting it. But I keep it in a jar and it stays in a cupboard in this room. That way I can pull it out and I can use it anytime I need to. If I need something for a spell ingredient, I can use that. I can make black salt. I can make all kinds of other things. It's a little small thing that I do, but really makes sense. I also keep in a jar, like when I'm doing my herbal stuff. So I'm drying herbs and then I want to put all the leaves or flowers or something in a jar once they're dried. I'm going to have all these stalks left over. I keep the stalks of the plants in their respective jars as well. And I will use those to because I make fires outside all the time. So I will use the stalks of these different herbs to use as kindling, basically, to start the beautiful smoke going. They don't last long. They burn really, really fast. So don't expect just those to start your fire. I mean, if it does, awesome. But I use those in the bottom of my fire. So I've got that and these yucca plant roots that we find in the pasture. I will put that in there just to kind of start my actual wood that I have in there on fire. And I love it. It just adds something special to each fire. Even if I'm just making a fire because we all want to sit around a fire, I will use those things. And it just makes it's like, I gotta make everything witchy, right? So it's one way that I don't have to waste the part of the part of the plant that normally I would throw away. I can use it for something. I would be completely leaving something important out if I didn't tell you my boombox. Now, I'm not talking about boombox as when you're in the 90s and you had a cassette player type stereo system. No, this is a box. It's a shoebox that I wrote boom on, and it has everything that can start shit on fire and blow things up. So I have incendiary powders in there. I have Vesta powder. I've got the different minerals that make fire different colors. You can get the rainbow stuff usually at gas stations and stuff, but there are specific minerals that make specific colors when you throw them into the fire. So Google it. That is in that box. I've got some of my extra charcoal discs are in there because fire. And I have hand sanitizer in there because hand sanitizer and fire make lots of fire. So, because it's basically alcohol. So, it's spell gel. I think it was Witch of the Southern Night, right? That had mentioned that on Instagram one time, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. Here's my disclaimer, my cover my ass stuff. Please don't do things with fire that's unsafe. Okay, this is me telling you not to throw incendiary powders or liquids on top of an already flaming fire. Please do not come at me if you burn your eyebrows off. That's not my deal. That would be yours. Another little thing that I thought was a game changer for me, because I am a messy person and I'm very chaotic. Those little tiny trash cans you can get at the dollar store, I put those at each of my altars. So if I have shit I just want to throw away, I can put it in there. I can put candles that have been burned and have the little end the little wick thing, the thing that's tied to the wick, that thing, I can toss that away. I can, whatever's there, I can throw away, and I don't have to just toss it or forget it's there and then have even more mess than I already do. So little tiny trash cans everywhere. It's a good idea. Do it. So I want to talk about the flooring because I have something, like the floor, as I mentioned before, is not finished yet. I just tore it all up and cleaned it, and so it's just kind of, everything's in here, but I haven't done the floors yet. So, of course, I'm going to have to move shit around. But anyway, I have plans for the floor. So I bought a glossy black, like a semi-gloss, I think, for the floor, and then I have like an acrylic or a polyurethane. I don't know. You're supposed to put it over the top of it to seal it so you can use it for like walking on. But part of my flooring, I have decided I am going to paint like a permanent circle on the floor, somewhere where I can dedicate on the floor, because most of my workings I do on the floor. I will do it in front of my like working altar and I put things on there, but I'm sitting on the floor, there's shit all over the floor, and I decided, fuck it, I'm gonna make a permanent spot. So I'm going to paint a perfect circle with a pentagram. I'm going to put the symbols for all of the elements in their respective directions and put those on the floor. I'm going to make this permanent spot, and it doesn't mean I don't have to recast my circles, no, but I do want it there to symbolize like a sacred spot where I do stuff. And it helps me because I'm super visual. I am very I feel vain saying it, but I love aesthetics, and that to me would like feel so beautiful to be sitting inside a circle that I can visually see, not just like intuitively know it's there. I can see the circle. So I've decided I'm going to do that. There's going to be some other symbols and stuff on the floor, but I feel like that's my personal stuff. So anyway, that's going to be probably my favorite thing on the floor, or my favorite thing in this room once I get it done. I'm hoping I can get it done in the next 2 weeks. So we'll cross our fingers and hope that's when I get it done. Totally forgot to tell you about my wall altar shit. So I have a shelf that I put offerings for my ancestors. And I know ancestor worship, if you are honoring, I hate calling it worship. Ancestor veneration or honoring as a white person right now is super, it feels weird, and I've kind of stopped doing it until I can work through my feelings about it. But the point is, you can put an altar on the wall. So get a shelf, get one of those floating shelves, stick it on the wall, and then you can put altar offerings up there like food. So if you have cats or small children and you don't want them to get that stuff, you can put it on the wall. So I have this floating shelf that I, of course, spray painted gold. And I've got candles and offering bowls and things up there. Honestly, I have just kind of stopped doing that. It's been a minute. Let's just say that. It's been a while. I sometimes will acknowledge them during meditations and things like that. But right now, I'm just processing. And my processing is in no way even fucking close to the processing that the indigenous peoples and native peoples of this country and Canada are going through right now. Like, my shit is just fucking so minimal compared to what they're going through. So I don't want anybody going, oh, you're, putting your shit out there like it's bad. I'm like, no, I'm just letting you know I've stopped honoring my ancestors right now because I don't feel right doing it. I realize that you have to be specific about which ancestors to honor. So I ain't gonna honor the ones that were slave owners or that colonized this country, which are fucking a giant bunch of my ancestors. So I'm not sure how to go about it ethically or morally. So I just quit for now. But the point of that was that you can put an altar on the wall, and I have a wall altar just for that. So I can put food and shit up there. If I'm going to let my cats in my room, my witch room, I don't have to worry about them getting to it. And I know somebody's going to ask at some point, where are my poison plants? My poison plants are outside right now, safely away from any of the animals because they love sunlight and it's summertime and they can live out there. And then the ones that can't live outside, I have a plant room that I converted like our porch to a plant room. It's got grow lights and stuff in there, and they live in there because this room is way too dark for most of my plants. I have some succulents and things like that, but anything else is probably going to die in here, so I don't, unless it's going in the grow cabinet, it's going to go somewhere else. So how about we get to the giveaway? Because I'm sure most of you are like, Jesus Christ, will you just get to the card giveaway, please? Okay, I put everything into a name picker, welovenames.com, and here we go. Okay, hang on, let me shut that. All right, so our winner is Ashley N, and I will be emailing you to let you know that you are the winner. I didn't want to see your last name because, that's private. So congratulations, Ashley, on winning the Sacred Hags Oracle Deck by Danielle Dulski. Thank you so much for everybody that participated and is listening to my episodes. I really love seeing all those emails come through. I didn't answer everyone's email because that would have taken me forever. But I appreciate each and every one of you participating. And again, thank you, Ashley, and congratulations. Don't forget that next week is the week I am taking off. So I do have scheduled readings during that week, not very many, but I do have some, so I'll be doing those and continuing with the magical mentoring classes. But there will be no podcast episode, and I will probably be not on social media quite as much. I have some scheduled posts that will happen, but if you email me next week or message me on social media, chances are you're gonna have to wait for a response. I'm gonna take this time to chill, to reflect, and get ready for a girls' weekend that we're having. It's not really a girls' weekend because we're bringing our husbands, but someone's gotta cook, right? He's in the next room, so I didn't want to say it too loud. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I just wanted to share some of my favorite things with you. So yeah, until next time, stay witchy. Bye-bye.